Hello again. It's your pal Syrian Sage, and I'm going to give you a reading with some fun tarot cards. We're going to do a general reading to see about what you need to know for the time period coming up, like the next week. Okay, so first of all, we have Temperance, the Nine of Swords, and the Five of Swords that just jumped out. This is the situation that you're looking at right now. The Nine of Swords is this is our indicator that you need to talk to your therapist, maybe talk to a spiritual counselor or a priest. If that were advice, that would be the advice. But really, the situation might be maybe you're not sleeping well. Are you not sleeping well currently? Are you waking up at like 3 in the morning? Did you break up with somebody? Five of Swords. Temperance. Are you trying to figure out how to balance things, how to bring all the energy together to get what you want? And it's that why maybe you're not sleeping well? So that's the situation. What's the path forward? What's the guidance? Let's look at that. Then we'll get some more detail. How's that sound? Okay, the path forward and the guidance. Now, again, three cards. We have the Hanged Man, we have the Lovers, and we have the Four of Swords. So, the guidance here, the path forward has to do with making a difficult decision. This is not about love in its purest sense. This is more about like you're really in a star-crossed lovers situation. This has to do with conflict. This has to do with making a choice that you're going to have the point of no return. And so this indicates a conflict, like you're going to choose what's most important to you, regardless of what ends up happening. And also resting. The Four of Swords, this is a repose. This is like resting after a battle. This represents, I think, self care here. Take care of yourself. And the Hanged Man, this represents sacrifice. And it's also a major arcana, as is Temperance right up here. So let's take a deeper look. We have the situation and then we have the path forward. Major arcanas all over here. Temperance, the Hanged Man, the Lovers. Why don't we take a look at Temperance first? Because that's the first one that came up in the reading. This has to do with all things in moderation. Temperance is about managing your resources and managing them equally so you don't have too much of one thing. It's all things in moderation and frugality, so a sense of economy. Work with what you have and try to transform that into what you need. It is a combination of forces. This is action. It has to do with realization. So this has a material effect. It's either good or bad. Temperance is like alchemy. This is like the alchemy card. Or you could think about this like this is a glass blower that uses all of the elements in order to construct something out of blown glass. So that's really the situation. Feels like a desperate situation. It feels like this is a schism or a breakup where like you can't even agree to disagree. You just have to move on and the group breaks up. This is where like the band breaks up and no, we're not getting the band back together again. So work with what you have. That's the situation. This is the guidance here. Make a tough choice. What's the choice? I'm going to say because we have this decision, this card is like calling for you to make a decision. The Lovers is calling for you to go after what you're passionate about. And I'm seeing, two options on either side of these Lovers. The Four of Swords, which is take care of yourself, or you can just continue to sacrifice yourself. Take care of yourself, sacrifice yourself. I don't think that this is the good option here. I don't think that the Hanged Man is where you want to take that. I think maybe like a bath with some bubbles or some Epsom salt is what you want with the Four of Swords. Okay, so there's your path forward and your guidance. Now the challenge here That's the next part of this reading here. The challenge is holding on to your resources. The Four of Pentacles, this has to do with stubbornness. This is more than just working with what you have with temperance. This is like don't loan out your prized belongings to anyone. Like you've got some physical media that is hard to come by, don't loan it out to people right now. Just keep your resources to yourself. Don't loan your money out to people. That's the challenge. Will you be able to hold on to your resources? Will you be able to hold the football with both arms around it? That's kind of what the Four of Pentacles looks like in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot. Looks like a guy is kind of holding onto a football, but he's also like he's got both of his feet on his pentacles and he's got one on his crown, and it's like he isn't letting go of anything. There's no movement. It's just stagnation. So like there's your challenge. The challenge of stagnation when really like the situation is calling for you to like transform something. So you're being challenged here. What's the unseen energy? Let's look at that. What's the unseen energy? Whoop. The unseen energy, we have the Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. So the Page of Swords, I'm going to put these over here. The Page of Swords, this is a young person. This is somebody who is maybe like a spy. This is a vigilant person. And the Queen of Pentacles is, I would describe her more like a materialistic or an opportunistic woman, like a woman of money, a woman who's good at receiving money. So there's a few different ways that you could look at that one. Let's go a little bit deeper with the Page of Swords, though. The Page of Swords, or, you know, in other tarot decks, this would be the Princess. Princess, Page, Princess. It represents the earthy aspect of whatever element or whatever suit it's in. So this represents the earth of air, and then the queens represent the watery aspect. So this would be the watery aspect of earth. Or, you know, like you could look at it like it's the more emotional, intuitive part of the physical realm. This is the earthy aspect of the mental plane. This is putting your thought into action, right? This, the Queen of Pentacles, this is a woman who can take your resources and grow them. Like, this is a woman you invest in, and she makes your wealth even greater. The Page of Swords, this is a vigilant person who's examining things very carefully, like not totally looking at the sword, but looking to know that there's two sides on that sword. Being aware of that. This is an overseeing kind of an energy. Like, think Secret Service, spying, or it could be an indication. This is unseen energy. This could be someone who is like prying into your secrets, like a very curious child who wants to break the lock off of your diary or something like that. And it connects to this Queen of Pentacles. Like, this is, as far as like the unseen energy goes, it's like these can represent actual people. Okay. To go a little bit deeper, the Queen of Pentacles, she represents generosity. She represents security and freedom, the ability to make lots of choices because you have resources to make those choices. It is also a sense of opulence. Also, Pentacles, this is like a dark figure, like she might have dark hair. If this is a person, she may have like a dark complexion. This energy could also be a representative of a gift or present from a rich relative family member. So, this is the unseen energy behind this whole situation. There's two characters involved that are unseen or unknown. That doesn't necessarily mean that you don't know them, but rather the energy behind the situation. Like, They have to do with it. They're part of it. They're involved. Let's look at what's the outcome. Okay. The outcome is the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles represents material loss. It can also represent like an illness. The Five of Pentacles is like being left out in the cold. Five of Pentacles is, you could look at it like the other fives. When you see other fives, it kind of represents like this sort of chaotic energy. So, Five of Pentacles, this is like a material trouble or material loss. Destitution is is a word to describe it. It's not necessarily the worst thing. Like, hey, it's not reversed. If this were reversed, it would be like absolute ruin, discord. This is a person who's walking with crutches and they're alone, and the doors to this sanctuary are shut to them and they can't get inside. Sometimes this can mean a sense of like losing money. It can also mean losing a job. It can mean losing a valuable thing or things. What's the overall theme of the whole situation at hand? What's the overall theme? The Ace of Swords. So the Ace of Swords has to do with invoked force. This has a lot to do with willpower. This is a very strong idea. This can be like either love or it can be hate. There's a couple of different ways that you could interpret the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there's a crown around it that has like these branches kind of hanging off the left and the right side. They're two different kinds of branches. And there's the crown that it's hanging from. Just imagine it as like, heavy is the crown that bears the knowledge and information here. So that's what this whole thing is about. There's some idea of an excessive degree of everything. Maybe this is a triumph of force or a conquest, but it's like great force as in like passionate love or passionate hatred. It's starting to inform more of the background here about like why this might be the outcome here is that some new idea is coming into fruition, and it is resulting in this kind of nightmare situation. Part of it is like a conflict that I get you've been dealing with, leading to, make a really tough choice. You're going to either choose the self or you're going to choose to completely avoid the self. You're challenged to hold on to your resources because the outcome is looking like a loss. And it's all because somebody had this big idea. The unseen energy again. Let's get some clarification on the Page of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. I want to know more about these two figures and what's their connection. Their connection is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups has to do with like contentment or satiety, like complete fulfillment. But this is somebody who's not sharing. This is somebody who's not sharing their resources with their community. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thanks so much for watching. And if you want to contribute to my work so that I will never have to go back to corporate accounting, you can book a private session with me over at SyrianSage.com. You can also contribute to me over on Ko-fi over here. I really appreciate you watching this video, and thanks so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.